Okay. Okay, we're going to begin the Personnel Board meeting of Tuesday, January 7th, 2025. First item on our agenda is a discussion regarding the town administrator position salary structure. And Julie Perouse is here from the
Hello.
Hello.
Right. Julie Perouse, 72 Cedar Street, Chair of the Select Board. Yes, I am here to make a request. I think, in case everyone isn't currently aware, our town administrator has let us know that he will be leaving that position at the end of his contract, the end of this fiscal year, which will be the end of June. So we are trying to make any preparations needed to recruit for that position. I've been speaking with a consultant we've used to source other high-level positions here. And one of the recommendations he made was for us to move the town administrator position off of the salary grid and just consider it a direct contract. So that was going to be a request of mine. I was speaking to our new HR director. Have you had a chance to meet with this group yet? Okay. Who said that, and certainly
Yeah.
correct me,
Okay.
but that I think that is commonplace. I think based on Massachusetts law, that it shouldn't be a problem to do that. In fact, it's kind of, I think, more of a formality for me to come here and request it,
Okay.
from what I understand. Am I outlining this properly?
The legislation allows for the.
Oh, sorry. Can you come up here?
Of course,
Sorry. Bring you into my.
Yeah. If you want to just introduce,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just
could you please introduce yourself?
Ray Geary, Human Resources Manager.
you.
Sorry, how to remember my title.
You're welcome.
Legislation allows for the town administrator's salary to be contracted, be part of the contract and not necessarily fall within a salary band.
Mhm.
Similar model to like the superintendent of schools.
So from what I understand though, Mr. Ward is on a contract.
Yes.
So you're just proposing that the position is removed off the salary scale?
Yes.
Has this been discussed with,
Not my board yet. We have a meeting tomorrow about the recruiting and the fulfillment of the position. So I was coming here to kind of let you know.
okay,
That was what I was planning to propose to them.
Mhm.
And then since getting put on your agenda and then speaking with HR, it sounds like it can be done easily.
okay.
But and that also the consultant was saying like it is unusual for
Okay.
a town administrator to be in a salary band on
Oh.
a salary
Mhm.
grid. Normally it is more just similar to the superintendent,
Mhm.
just a contractual
Right.
obligation
Makes sense.
between the
Right.
school board. Yeah. So I'm not sure like kind of the history of it, just kind of basing it on the information I have today.
Okay.
That I wanted to,
Mhm.
you know, again, meet with you because your meeting was today to let you know like that
Mhm.
is something I'm going to
Propose.
propose
Okay.
to our
Okay.
group as well.
Okay.
That's something that needs legal review?
Oh, I was just gonna ask. Yeah.
I'm sure we will legally review it for
But,
sure.
but I guess review versus approval.
Yeah. I'm kind of trying to like gather information.
Sure.
now, so I'm not sure I have the answer to that
Okay.
question.
So,
Like kind of was just I guess looking to like
yeah.
kind of open it
Bring
up for
awareness.
discussion.
So we would like probably a legal opinion and to make sure it falls within the bylaws too. We'd have to do some, research.
Question,
Would the
either one.
state
answer
law
can-
supersede the
The
bylaw?
state law supersedes.
Yeah,
The-
Okay.
Makes sense.
The bylaws actually have no jurisdiction
No?
over the
Okay.
town administrator salary.
Yeah, I didn't see that in there. I mean,
Yeah.
but for the min and the max salary, if you will, who would determine that? Would that be
Right.
your board or would it be HR or?
I think we would certainly rely on the information provided by HR and also to, like, we would need to kind of look at the marketplace right now and where the salary
Sure.
lands.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, the finance committee will be involved and,
Mhm.
well,
No,
I think,
no, there will be
Yeah.
a budget. I
Right.
don't
Yeah.
want this to seem like we're
Mhm.
just kind of looking for like
I-
carte blanche on the salary. Like,
I
there will
think
absolutely be a
so.
budget, but where the salary is now is like, very like, I believe the bottom quartile.
We agree.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yes, and
yeah, we're
that's.
just trying to like, so I'm trying to kind of, I think,
Mhm.
create a few paths here. like,
Sure.
If,
So-
if we need to look for a new administrator, which is
Right.
that what I'm indicated at the end, like that we are competitive, like no
Exactly.
one,
Agree.
even an outside
Agree.
firm will not help us
Mhm.
at the salary band.
That's
right
right.
now. That is just the reality of the market.
Yep.
And no, agree,
Yeah.
agree. I think too, though, with the salary range, we'd like to see the sources and where you come up with the range.
Sure,
on that.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
know it does need the finance committee approval, but we'd like to see that also.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like anecdotally, right now, the consultant that we're working with, they have 3 positions for the same level, 3 towns in Massachusetts. 2 are population size about 30,000, where we're about 15.
Mhm.
Those salary ranges are
Okay.
plus or minus $220,000.
Mhm.
There's another one that's currently being sourced by them that is out of Sutton. Their population is just under 10,000. Their town budget is about 42,000, and their range is plus or minus 190,000.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
I mean,
makes
I
sense.
Not
think in
surprised
that
at all.
kind
Yes.
of
Yep.
range,
Yeah.
I think that's what you
Right.
can expect.
Mhm.
You
Agree.
can certainly kind of like
Yep.
work out the details, but
Mhm.
we can kind of go back and see like what town administrators make around this area.
Right.
It's somewhat inconsequential if the marketplace is dictating like a certain range right now.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so that's kind of where
Yes.
we're at with that.
Mhm.
Okay.
So I think if I could, Madam Chair, this is indicative now of like 4 meetings we've had in a row
Yes.
from any position from the building inspector, building chairperson, commissioner, right? Because we're hoping to go that direction, all the way up to like Mike's position, where like this is a common problem and it's thematic across the board. So it's like I think it's going to be up to this board in collaboration with the select board and legal to we've got to figure out a solution to this challenge because our bookends are not supporting where jobs are classified and that's a problem for us. We're getting talent out there. So we're going to have to come to a solution one way or another.
Yeah, which kind of comes to the second part of why I want to come here is like we have like I think short-term needs related to like the salary grid and then long-term needs, I think, to your point exactly. I will use Ray as an example. Like he has been with us for a month, maybe, hired at the absolute top of the salary, his band in the salary grid. We still are absent a treasurer collector, which the consultant let us know that the salary range was low and to the point where I was not interested in working with us. And we are still without a very key position. Building inspector, same situation. I think the assistant town administrator, we haven't moved on that position, but in looking at candidate pool and interest and what the market rate is for that position and that experience and what they would be doing here, we feel like it's low too. So we definitely need to start to like dig into really revisiting that grid with, get information, data. And I think, Ray has already looked at it enough to say there are things that aren't copacetic with
Mhm.
the marketplace
Right.
now. So
We
I
absolutely
think we're
agree.
kind of right. Like we're all
I
I feel
agree.
like on the same page and like
No,
I
we
think
definitely
maybe kind
are.
of like what is like how do we work on like a plan forward to try to figure out
Right.
like what do we need to do.
So-
Actually, I agree, and
Right.
all the jobs you're mentioning is, I think I have issues with the salary grade. I could go on for hours, but no, it's coming up when people leave. You know,
Yeah.
it's the people that when this came out and they said, here's
Right.
what you're making, you
Mhm.
know, you got the hometown discount, and that's
Yeah.
what you have. And you had people that've been here a long time, and they said, okay, this is what I make, and so be it.
Yeah.
But as they're leaving,
Right.
and now you're advertising these positions, you know, you're going, hey, you know, I'm not. I mean, the other ones you listed were people that just left. You know,
Yeah.
If you dig, I mean, maybe I've already done it. If you dig in, that you're going to see there's people here.
Oh, for
that have been
sure.
working here for years. They're, you know, I'm
And
trying
that's
to
what I
clean up my words here, but they're, you know, they're not happy. I mean,
Yeah, and that's what
Not
I mean
speaking for
about
me.
like long term.
Right.
Like, you know, it is the short term is trying to find good people to
Yep.
work here, who are experienced and also to, you know, course correct maybe on the level of our current employees if that is necessary as
Mhm.
well. Like I think this is a long term approach that
It
we
is.
need
Yeah.
to take.
yeah, no, and I agree. That's what my point is. But I think at this point, what you're looking for like, from us, and please clear me, is just our endorsement, right? I mean, which, you know,
Yeah,
should we
I
take
think
a motion?
I think I was
forward.
coming into it. I think
Right.
feeling like I needed the approval because I thought that was kind of what it is.
Yeah.
But
Well, we-
endorsement is
Yeah,
absolutely.
we could do it either way. You know, I mean, I think
I
we're all
mean-
agreeing. So I mean, you know, I mean, I'm not speaking for everybody else, but I think
Yeah.
we're all seeing the same.
Same.
I mean, we know legally it can be done.
Right.
So, I mean, like I said, we'd want to see the ranges and where that information, you know, what we're being compared to with, which as far as the other positions go and everything, I forgot when was the last salary study done?
I think
Um,
2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We're
Mhm.
coming up on that, I believe, the last year of the,
Mhm.
of those recommendations. I think it
Mhm.
was a 3 year.
So this is the last year of those
We're coming up. The
recommendations, and
next
then we
fis-
would
the
move
next fiscal
forward
year.
with
Fiscal year 26.
a new
So-
salary study.
But, okay.
It's
so-
an option, or we continue on the same band or the same tracks. That
So you're talking about for
I don't
This
think we can
FY
afford to
coming up.
continue on the same track.
No, I
Because we're
would,
not getting the talent that we need.
I would urge a salary study
Me
done
too.
sooner than later. The economy has changed
Right.
overall. So what would prevent us from doing another salary study now?
you're about 2 positions away from closing the town.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to be
There's
funny.
ways,
You're-
but
no,
you lose a
right.
couple
No,
of
I lose sleep over it.
Well, I mean,
lately.
I think when you have consultants that have the data
Right,
that they can look at regionally and at
right.
a job classification level and at a pay level, and they're able to provide that data to you, and they're turning you away, saying they won't work with you
Exactly.
because they're not confident they could help you fill a position because you're that far off of what the current value is. Like that's got to be a wake up call for everybody. I think we've all tried to put things in play. We just haven't
Yeah.
got ourselves from the beginning to the end yet. But I think we all on this board endorse that a change has to come.
Mhm.
Matt Kobus was here 2 meetings ago
Right.
with a recommendation on adding a full
Different.
letter to the scale, not changing the way we do things,
Yeah,
leaving
but
them the
just
same, but adding
adding
a
a
letter, which would help to close some gaps.
And also
because-
flexibility where we're
Exactly.
missing.
Because we can't even place people on a scale. We lost out on a commissioner for $7,500. Like that can't happen, right?
Right.
Like, so I think
Not
I think we need to figure out how to execute
Mhm.
action items and without insulting anybody, stop talking about it.
Exactly.
We need to figure out a way to move the ball forward.
And quickly,
And,
because
right,
we are losing good, I mean,
Like-
we're not able to get good talent
right.
Yeah.
to fill these positions.
Yeah.
And it's
And-
taken us way too long,
And
way too long.
starting someone at the higher end of the scale is of no value to
Right.
really anyone.
It's
You-
cola for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
I mean,
Break the news to you.
Or we're
Oh.
right, or that person's like moving on.
Yeah.
And we're back where we started,
Exactly.
where we've I mean, it
Mhm.
will cost less for us to retain good people than it is to recruit new people. So I want to make sure we're getting, great people in
Mhm.
and keeping them, at a competitive rate in a good
Right, and we're
environment.
even looking at, where we need to, if we have an opportunity to save somebody, it's very difficult to do that
Right. because of the level.
We're limited.
Yeah, because of the tightness, because of the bylaws.
Right.
So we need to make some adjustments.
Yeah.
To be able to retain good talent.
Yeah. So maybe like we can put together, I think, some like key recommendations.
Yes.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I
What do you
think a good short-term solution is to look at what we have open right now and see where they line up.
Yeah.
Comparatively across the region at the very least, and see if we can find any way to do some sort of temporary exemption or an amendment to the bylaw that would allow us to place them on a band while we go ahead and do a further study
Mhm.
Well,
across the board.
Right.
I'm sorry, I think the temporary, and it's not that, something I'm not in favor of, but I mean, it would be a last resort. And Matt brought it up earlier, it's like, so if you look at the building commissioner, he's a G right now, so step 15 doesn't fit. We, the personnel board, could reclassify to an H, would be a short-term solution to what you're saying.
Mhm.
And again, it's gonna make everybody that's a G unhappy and everybody in H is unhappy, but
Right.
it would get us to a short term till we redo this thing. That might be one.
Exactly.
But that, I mean, and that'd be more than one job. I'm just using that as an example. If you sit there
Right, and
say to
I
us-
would say that I agree with that, so long as and it's my opinion, so as long as we're falling within what that market rate is. If we're bumping them up one or two
Agreed.
bands and
Right.
it's still underneath, we're still falling below, then we
Yeah,
still need
it
a little
wouldn't
bit
be
of an
right.
exemption.
Yeah, and I was just trying to get us to
Right.
June. I didn't have I don't have any long-term plans.
Mhm.
So I think we're all saying the same thing.
Yeah, and I would just say to separate the two is that I would recommend that, I mean, from the select board perspective, right? If truly like mass law supersedes our bylaw
Right.
on what to do with Michael, then it's honestly not a personnel board issue.
Agree.
No, it's.
So if they can confirm that that's the case, then they can have a conversation as a select board and say, essentially now what we will need to do is come back to the personnel board and clue in the finance committee and say,
Exactly.
we believe at this point in time with help of HR that we want to post this position and that the range is between
This is-
200 and 230. Do you all support that
Mhm.
once they do their research? Because it doesn't sound like, from what I'm hearing here today, that it's really not under our purview to say you can or you can't. It sounds like you can, based upon what we know.
Right.
And it's going to be up to both yourself, Bob, and the select board to go, yep,
Mhm.
that's true. And then you
Mhm.
guys decide how you're going to handle that, because
That's what I say. I think we should.
that's the law.
I'd make a motion that we
Right.
endorse that. And
Yeah.
then, because like we talk about meetings, so we're meeting now, then you meet tomorrow, then we
Right.
meet a month from now. We just keep chasing our tail. So at least if we endorse it to Matt's point, if the state law says you can do it, doesn't say you have to do it, says you can, then
Mhm.
we're saying, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's the best way to
Agree.
Yeah.
rather than have to come back to us and say,
Yeah.
hey, the law says you can, then have us vote again and
Mhm.
try to do it.
in favor of that, I'll make a motion that we endorse or, was that?
I can make the motion.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
I thought usually the chair doesn't. No. You can make it.
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never make motions as the chair for school committee, so my apologies.
No, that's fine.
I don't want to step on your toes.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
You sure? I'll make a motion that we acknowledge that the data that Julie's put in front of us is that there's the potential to look at more data to see if Michael's contract could potentially be direct instead of on the scale. And based upon what data they have, they can, come back to us with confirmation.
Yeah, if it is something, and I don't want to do it, but if it is something that it's time sensitive, you guys meet tomorrow, you could come back to us and say, hey, can you meet in a week? I'd rather
I
not.
was gonna maybe ask if you guys would be flexible with your meeting schedule.
Yes.
Because I do have a concern about the time frame in which we have now and the
Mhm.
end of the contract
Sure.
and everything. So
We
I'm
are
trying to kind of make some concurrent paths to,
Mhm.
to make movement to make it happen fast. So.
Anything's good except
Yeah,
on Monday.
that's fine.
We did
So I-
it's like school committees on Monday. So
Second.
Oh, yeah.
All in favor?
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
And
We
then we'll
appreciate you
kind of, I
bringing this
think
to us.
maybe try to start to make like recommendations for salary grid related activities.
Yeah.
To move this forward, I guess.
Yes.
Will fall under that type of,
could
you
just
know,
pull
like you
this
said,
up
a
on your
plan.
wall
I
and-
think, like we said, we were kind of all in the
Yeah.
same place, but I think we need
Yeah.
a plan. So as we're kind of like, let's like maybe think of a few items that we need to like tick off in order to start filling these positions.
Mhm.
What brought this to us was so we wouldn't have to like reclassify 5 positions to get them filled, right? Versus like maybe looking at a plan that Matt Combs had put in front of us, which was maybe we ought to be looking at something to just reset the letters so that way you don't have to one-off reclassify positions all the time.
Right.
So I think near term, long term, that was the intent.
Right.
So that way you're not, because we don't want to start doing that. That's a slippery slope.
Right.
Where every time we have to overcome a challenge, we're going, oh, let's just reclassify that. And then other people that have positions in the town are like, why can't you reclassify my position so I can make more money? That's not the intent. The
Yeah,
intent is to be
exactly.
in alignment so positions align with the market,
Right.
not people and money. It's not like it's
Right.
not that way.
You know, we can create as
Absolutely.
many letters, as many levels as we want. But if those positions aren't correctly classified, it's status quo.
It's
So we need to make
meaningless.
sure that.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's
Right.
right. Absolutely right. We are thrilled you are here.
Oh, thanks.
Long term, right?
Yeah.
We'll put, no, I'm just kidding. Of course.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Positions.
What else on the agenda? Should I stick around?
Okay, so,
All right.
yeah, no, I know.
I don't know.
Mike's Ray. So Ray, will you be going over the next item on the agenda?
Oh, great.
Okay. So we just, the next item is the status of all of the open positions.
Is Quo a response? They're pretty much, everything is pretty much where it's been since I've stepped foot through the door.
Okay.
Right.
My understanding is that we're waiting to see what's going to happen with the salary band for the building commissioner. For the assistant town administrator, I do believe the select board was looking at a list of candidates, or it was the personnel board. I'm not sure exactly where that fell.
Well, I thought Mike Ward was the one that was charged with interviewing and making recommendations on the assistant town administrator. Julie, do you have any updates on that?
I would say the update is when he put forth his candidate, we exercised our option to not support it. So I think he is looking at our board for next steps, which is on our agenda for tomorrow.
Okay.
So
Really,
should
we
have
reached
one.
out to.
We
other
have. I'm
perceived
sorry. Yes.
analysts At that point in time to find out if they're still interested at this.
Yes, Michael did do that
Okay.
and they are all interested. So-
Point? Okay, well, that's.
So I think it's more just a, I mean, I think like, I want to rehash what we just talked about, but, I'm going to recommend our plan is to like review those resumes, maybe interview 3 top candidates, move forward, with that, but still up for the discussion of our board tomorrow. That is just my own personal.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, well, but will Mike Ward still be part of that process now, or, I mean,
I imagine,
he's still
yeah.
here, so.
It's-
mean, he's
it
here through the
certainly
end of
his
June,
his
right?
announcement
Exactly.
certainly changes it, but I think he is obviously,
Right.
well-versed in that
Right.
office.
I
and
would think.
what it is, and he's already interviewed them once.
Because
so-
what we've discussed is a successor to the
Right.
town administrator position.
Yeah, we have been talking, encouraging succession planning for a few years now. Are not there, but, and I think even with that position, we were kind of looking at it to be
No.
more of a,
I think
let's try to
they're in here at 6 o'clock.
figure out like,
They won't
kind
be
of
in here till
flex
6
our
o'clock.
muscle in terms of knowledge sharing and how do we, but obviously like we have to, I think, pivot based on the information we have. So certainly, just trying to, I guess, address the current situation
Mhm.
as it stands now. I normally would fall under this is your team, choose it. This is,
Exactly.
again, this is kind of unusual circumstances. So I
And-
think we'll be kind of trying to move forward as best we can.
Mhm.
I think we need to take a hard look at these resumes that we have currently.
I agree. I think we were
because-
just speaking about it.
Yeah, we just can't afford to make them fit.
Exactly.
Here, at the town hall, And we need to be trying to attract the best talent. And I know everybody knows that. But again, we're going to struggle with that when we don't have the appropriate salary range to offer the talent that we need. So I guess caution, I don't want to hire somebody just to hire them.
Yeah.
Cause
It dep-
as Joni said, we really need to be looking at succession
Right.
planning and, going to be without a town administrator at the end of, that needs to be our top priority.
Right.
Obviously, everybody
Most
knows that, but,
absolutely.
I mean, I will say, like, having been working on projects with the assistant town administrator when she left, like, they have made most of them no movement, very little movement. So I think also like losing 40 hours a week of, personnel time to
mm,
move things forward, like we're on our heels a bit, like we need to move this forward and
Yeah.
like,
agree.
yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of, seeing the urgency in this. In the perfect world, we would have been succession planning even a couple
Right.
years ago.
Right. Agree.
In my opinion.
Right.
But that wasn't done, so just have to kind of work with what we've got. Been researching it myself, some of the key things we need to make sure our knowledge transfer. I'm not an expert, so certainly will be leaning on the
Right.
staff here to educate me on
Right.
what we need to do. But like I said, we just have to, I think, move forward with what we've got.
Mhm.
In terms of the situation we have to take action
Right.
based on
Right.
what
We
we know,
don't-
what we know now, what
Right.
we have, making these moves towards like adjusting the salaries so that it's
Mhm.
competitive for a
Correct.
town administrator.
Right.
Probably, we'll obviously need to rehash a job
How long ago
description.
was that posted?
The assistant town administrator?
It's like August, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I don't know. Does it make sense to repost it?
they could,
I think it might.
it could.
It's still up there.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
technically.
Still up there, and we're still getting candidates left and
Okay.
right. But
Oh.
Okay.
candidates,
Good to know.
they're submitting themselves, and the quality isn't necessarily
Right.
there.
Right.
What I would recommend in terms of that is if these candidates that the select board is reviewing don't pan out, that we pull the job description and rewrite it, because it does not, in my opinion, read as an ATA.
Mhm.
So then I think we should,
We have
do
that
that
discussion
anyway?
already.
yeah, I think because I would be surprised
I agree.
that the candidates that we have since August, I think we rewrite it and repost
I
it, but
would
that's
agree with
just
that.
my.
We did
Personal
have that, and that's a good point, and thank you for bringing that up, because we had that, and we decided to go out with that description because we wanted to get somebody in, as quickly
Quickly.
as possible, but I do agree with that as well, to pull it and look at the job description and build in being the successor, not a guaranteed successor, but lining it up to
This may be-
that.
You looked at it, you don't,
I looked at it, and it reads as an executive assistant.
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
But I will be also very frank that if we pull that position and rewrite it while we're looking at other candidates, we've already eliminated transparency as a factor.
I would say at least to me, the first thing they should do before we do that is at least if Michael said, these are 3 finalists, he put forth who he thought the person should be for the job. Obviously, they decided that wasn't the person. But if there were other 2 finalists that were there, then the select board should at least get in front of those finalists.
Right.
If there's only 3 people, what's it going to take them? A week? 2
No,
weeks?
I'm not saying we shouldn't do
And
that.
then if that doesn't pan out and they don't like those.
I'm not
people,
saying
they
we
should
shouldn't
be
do that,
posted.
but we should have a good, we should have, I don't know, who would be on the interview team. I just want to make sure that we get
Are you
a
good with them?
team, a diverse team that.
So
will
what
be
if
able
we
to ask
would
the
that-
good questions?
I agree with what Ellen's saying. Yeah.
Diverse.
Right, because we also want to make sure that if we turn down one candidate and the other ones have to be either a level above, or I don't know what the reasons were or any of that, but we don't want to set us up for any,
I think you already have a good idea what we should be looking for. So in interviewing those people, if you don't see that skill set or those aspects, or they're not going to be able to bring that to the table, then we need to make those tough decisions. And be open.
Right. But we're
About-
also interviewing these candidates based on what was posted.
I
That's what they
understand that,
want.
but in the back of our mind, we also have to know what it is we really need for the town. So yes, I understand what you're saying, but I think we do interview them and
Ray, I have a quick question. If you guys determine and confirm that Mike's contract, or not Mike's, but the town administrator contract can be direct, and there's no like hoops we have to jump through, would that at least open it up for us where if conversations with the finance committee and the personnel board are had in short order, we could post that job to be reflective in the salary range that the market bears, because we don't want to wait around and not post that job either if we know he's leaving. So if we don't need to wait for like a special town meeting or some way to make that pay scale fit in our current grid so we can get to the number we want, because that's the concern, right? The reason why you go direct is because we can't place it on the scale right now that reflects the market. If you all confirm that, can we post that job sooner than later to reflect what the market would bear to start looking at candidates? Like how long would that, we don't want to sit on that, I guess is what I'm
Well,
saying.
the legislation
agree.
does say that. So we can go direct with any TA, any town administrator, any town manager. It's reflected in all over the state with different municipalities. We know that we can do that. We don't need to fit it within a salary band. So if there's no need for review on this end, and we can verify with the consultant what the market rate would be, as well as do our own internal study to make sure that we're in line with that, and go to finance committee for the budget for 7/1, then we can post right away.
Because that's, I just don't want to.
Is there a job?
No,
is there
I
a job-
agree
is there a
that,
job
I agree.
description
Do
for
have
the
to
town
make-
station?
I believe so. I
What?
think I have it. I
Necessity.
feel like
I-
you did.
his
Right.
name.
Right.
And the reason I'm not saying is, as we found out, a lot of them,
I'm-
they just, a lot of them were never updated, I guess. So, I'm not saying it's 30 years old, but it
I
might
think
be.
that would be another hurdle for us, is to be able to update
Because-
that job description.
And I agree with you. We posted the assistant town administrator based off the current job description. My point is, if we're gonna take a look at the town administrator, maybe at the same time, take a look at what you want the assistant town administrator to be. And I know there was a lot of work put in to the one that they have right now. Joint committees between the select board and the personnel board is what they came up with. Again, I agree with you. We've already posted
Sure.
for that, but be prepared if we can't fill it. If we're gonna take a look at the town administrator, let's take a look at the assistant town administrator, and they really should almost mirror each other, other than
Yep.
putting in the words of "in the absence of."
Yeah,
I mean,
I guess
really.
I guess I'm struggling with. We can interview these people based on what we posted, but we know that's not what we need for this town.
Right.
So yes, we should interview those people, but we also have to protect what we need to bring into
Right.
into this position.
I agree to an
So-
extent. I agree to an extent, and in my professional opinion, I'll tell you exactly what I would do in that position. I would pull the posting and email all of our candidates and let them know that we have decided to review this position, and that we're going to be reposting, and they'll be notified when it's reposted.
I
so
think
they-
that's what we
I
should
would
do.
agree with that too.
I think that's what we should do. So that's
I
why
agree
I
with
wanted
that
to
as well.
pursue that conversation because
Yeah.
You-
I agree with that 100%.
yeah,
Why didn't you say that 15 minutes ago?
Why did that?
It's my first time.
I
Let me dip my toes in.
No.
No, I think you nailed it right there. That
And
really,
it-
right to Alan's point. Why keep going down this road? If we say, look at this,
And you can,
take a look at them
I
both
mean, I
right now.
think that's
So that's what I
a
wanted
great
to know,
discussion.
what the alternatives were and what we could do because I just don't think that's right.
So yeah, if we can,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Because like you said, if they feel like if they feel like they're qualified to do the job with the new posting, then let them reapply. and come in and
Exactly.
interview and-
We just have
No
to
big
ensure
deal.
transparency.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's what we need to
So
do.
do I have a motion to pull the existing job
Yes.
requisite out on the assistant town administrator? So that it can, the job description can be rewritten to conform better with the town administrator position?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
If you could, and again, it's just my suggestion, if you could work with just, I know you're full time where I am, but not in this role. If you could work with us, we could kind of look at what that.
Good job.
I know we took some
Yeah.
chops at before.
We
looking at
did.
some members of the select board, so there's probably, maybe there isn't,
Yeah.
drafts where we wrote stuff in that we just kind of stopped. But maybe we could mirror the two of them and
Yeah,
You could
it
come
was
to
a
us
nego-
with the proposal.
I was gonna say, I think there was a proposal and then a negotiation and then a this.
Yeah, to get to where
Got
we're at
kind of
now,
like
yeah.
Kind of got to a middle ground that may not be like what we need now.
That's
so maybe
exactly
go-
what I
go back
Well,
to
you
some
know,
original
these
terms.
two positions, the town administrator and the assistant, is a perfect opportunity to start thinking about succession planning. And
I mean, they really should
intermingling
mirror
it.
each other
Mhm.
to the
Yeah.
most part.
Yeah, I think the analogy we used when we talked about this way back when, and we couldn't get out of the spin cycle was this person should literally be no different than, Chief Coin's lieutenants. Like if Chief Coin goes out, who runs the station? The lieutenants do.
Yeah.
And I think what I asked, and I think you were here, I said, so if Mike Ward leaves or he's not here, who runs the town?
You did.
Yeah,
You?
I remember.
No,
that.
you don't, because it's not your job.
Right.
But we don't have somebody that can run the town because we posted that position as something it wasn't.
Right.
And probably to settle, to force it into a salary grid,
And
put
to
it where
get
needed
it
to
up
be.
quick.
And then we couldn't place it where it ought to be because we weren't prepared to not conform. We weren't bold.
Right, for all the wrong reasons.
So I think that, so anyways, long story
Yeah.
the end, I agree and thank you. It's great.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
only make one point about the town administrator, in terms of the consultant. We certainly can do it on our own, but I want to have another conversation with him because they will go out and look for people. And we have not filled this position in 30 years.
Mhm.
And a lot of
Mhm.
times they will come in and interview people, what is working,
Yep.
what is not, what is
Mhm.
needed. And
Mhm.
in my conversation with him, based on his knowledge and helping us in the past, like he had thoughts about what we need, and I would like to
Mhm.
kind of entertain those, like
Mhm. Mhm.
where, how we're managed, what our systems are, like what kind of person we need for this next phase of Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
And see if he could, if he feels like he can help us,
Sure.
great, and
Yeah.
work it out. But,
Right.
I think I think in theory, we could recruit on our own, but these are people with like networks and connections. And if we
I would
say,
agree.
this
Of
is what
course.
Clinton
I-
needs,
Mhm.
they are, this is not like we looked for someone 5 years ago, we're looking for someone
Right.
now. And that's not a lot of difference there. It's been
Right.
quite some time since
I
we-
agree with that.
Um,
And that's their job.
Right. And
Yeah.
if they
They're
have that
up
neck, I
on-
mean, I think we've all been to, our jobs and saying, I think you would be good at this job. Do you want to come work for me? Like,
Yeah.
and that is what that is
Yep.
what they do. I don't know if we'll go with them, but I would like just kind of
Sure.
wanted to let you guys know where my head was at with in terms of that.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, the caliber of the town administrator position, I would say would warrant to go with somebody with that type of.
yeah, it's so important. And, they're definitely key. We talk about like the candidate pool kind of like dwindling and the
Mhm.
people who have the experience we need is not like it was even a few years ago. So, yeah, I just want to make sure. I think we're all interested in doing things well and,
Right.
and moving things along, but making sure like we are making the right choices for Clinton. So,
Agree.
Ray, just before we close on status of open positions, can you just run down real quick which ones are still actually open?
Exactly.
Because I don't know which ones are open and which ones aren't. I know we've done a little bit of hiring in different pockets, but what is open right now?
Sure.
Thank you, Matt.
As on the town side, in town hall, we're looking at the treasurer collector. We're looking at the assistant town administrator and the building commissioner.
So I thought the treasurer collector, I thought we were bringing in a consultant.
Yes. I believe that that's something that's still being in the works, or it's been signed. I'm not involved in that, not directly.
But that's still temporary, Jody.
Yeah.
it is
That is
It is
temporary.
temporary. It is.
Band-Aid.
I think the candidate pool was very, very slim. Oh, you were on,
Again.
were you on that subcommittee?
Yeah, I was on that. Yeah,
We had a consultant, right, giving us.
yeah.
Mhm.
It was slim. It
Yeah.
in fact, and I won't be here too much longer, but I kind of got the impression that maybe I know I don't know how many years ago it was when they combined the treasurer collector. Was there any appetite to I'm not sure what we gained as a town by combining those positions, other than so maybe
before my time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I don't know when it happened. I'm not knocking those that did it, but if we can't get somebody to come here for both jobs, would it be to the town's advantage to separate them back out and say, we're just hiring a treasurer and
Just the treasurer.
and then hire, we have a collector.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
and-
So
And
just
again, I
time-
mean, it's
that's
just
it.
probably a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
The other one that, although I don't believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, your board hires, but the other one that'll be maybe an issue for the site is the senior center director that, although it's not,
Here.
Yes.
so you guys don't do that, right? But it's still on the salary committee.
Yes, yes, it is.
I don't
Yes, it
think
is.
that's reared its ugly head yet.
And you know,
but-
and I'm involved in that one. That's actually out, and the review of resumes have already begun. I'm making my recommendations on who to bring on to the board over there by the end of the week.
Cool. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate it. I just didn't remember because I knew there was some things we had taken care of, but
Okay, so this senior center director, so I wasn't even aware of it. So it does not flow to the personnel board?
The hiring body, the appointing authority is the council on aging.
Their board, right?
Their board.
Yeah.
So we're
Which is
Sort of
odd.
Similar to, well, I mean, the
Similar.
Parks and Recreation Board is elected and the library trustee is elected.
committee.
School
School
committee,
committee,
similar. to
yeah.
that.
So we still. do
It's not an
salary.
elected board, it's like appointed and
We still put that
Okay.
job on the
appointed, but
salary committee, but then their board puts.
riddle
when they
me
hire
this,
somebody.
I don't know.
So we would.
That goes
know-
back in history where I
Yeah.
don't have the information, but
You
I had
probably
the same
don't
thought.
Conversation for another.
Are we hiring for the senior center director? I was told it was handled by that board, so.
That board.
Their board would decide what step, but this board would decide what.
Ray, do you
I
get?
mean, it's on an
anything?
existing step, right?
Right, it's on a letter
So
grade now.
I'm going through the resumes.
That whole setup is bizarre. to
And
me.
I agree.
I'm going through the resumes and pointing out anyone who has the direct experience that they're looking for based on the job description without any changes. So that's where
Okay,
the
good.
board has purview.
Yeah.
And I've also highlighted most of the qualified candidates, all with substitutions.
Okay.
Because if
good.
we go forward with anyone who's qualified based on how the job description is written, we're looking at one person.
Okay.
But I'm going to be forwarding all of the resumes along with my recommendations for people for them
Great.
for their preliminary
Perfect.
interviews.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's great.
Thank you. Good. Good. Okay.
Okay.
Well, Thank you
Alright.
very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks.
Thank you. Good discussion.
Very good. Thank you.
HR director in the room.
I know.
It's nice to have an HR.
Yeah, they,
director.
yeah,
like
they
it.
usually inform. Oh, we have to have some.
But we,
Like, not him,
no,
like,
it's great.
women.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is.
Yeah.
I like it.
So the next item is the personnel bylaw review. So
Well, I think we've exhausted all our time,
I think though we did say.
but it was all good. That's not a bad thing.
We wanted to meet some.
No, it was good. It needed to happen.
Go through the bylaws. We're not gonna be able to know that in one meeting.
The major points I had on this, and we have used a lot of time,
Yeah, I know.
and I think there's a lot of responsibilities in the bylaws because there wasn't an HR. And I think
I had that same.
Yeah.
at least, I don't think at this point to do away with the personnel board, but I think a lot of these, and I just wrote notes to myself, I think a lot of these paragraphs you could end with, and you guys could put it a heck of a lot smoother than I can, but basically on the vote of the personnel board, another, give HR or this, I don't even know if to spell it out, or give the authority to someone else to act in our absence, because if there are, and I don't want to bore them up, but there are some things in here that, you'd have to wait, as we talked about earlier, for the board to meet, where now you have an HR and the board could vote to give that, kind of like maintaining the evaluations or something. What, this board maintaining, like we don't even have an office where we could say we vote to have I'm not dishing you a bunch of work, but to put that responsibility on HR, we could just go through all the paragraphs and kind of add that line in, because there are a lot of things in here that we just set up. There's some other admin stuff, but that's really the big points.
Yeah, I think most of it's particularly under 1.3, which all points towards, and that's
Yes.
every note I have in my margin is
Yeah.
Right.
HR. So
Right.
I think those things you can.
We can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Executive session.
Sure.
And I have some notes around compensation
Okay.
planning.
So I think at this time, we'll probably go into executive session to discuss some of the items in the bylaws right now.
Agree.
Agree. Bernie? You
Yeah, I
good
don't-
with that?
Just 1 second. I just want to, I wrote something in here. I don't know. I can't find it. There's just one part. It was the part that was an admin error about the two,
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you,
we can.
Julie.
Well, I think before we do, why don't we just,
We got him.
Well, they got a meeting here at 6 o'clock.
oh, okay. All right.
Planning board.
We'll be right out. All right.
Yeah.
We can just, we
Yeah.
could just,
All right, you know what? Unfortunately, there's another committee coming in, so we are going to have to, the personnel board will schedule, an off,
we could just,
monthly meeting to meet to discuss the, bylaws, the personnel bylaws. And if you're available, you're more than welcome to add your comments as well.
encouraged.
Encouraged.
Yes.
Encouraged to join.
You're encouraged strongly.
All
Mhm.
right.
At first, there are no public comments.
Nope.
So the next meeting date is, well, if we meet within, over the next couple of weeks regarding the bylaws, that will satisfy the February meeting, I would say.
Yeah, we can, I think, I don't have a date off the top of my head now because I know we've got some meetings next week with the school committee and some contracts. So I don't have a, is we could kind of coordinate a date, and just
Yeah.
figure one out. And then, you know, depending on when that is, if there's nothing on February, but if they need us in February based off of their
Yeah.
conversation. we can-
True.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's
do you
fine.
want to put something down for February?
Do you want for February or January?
January. Like to do the bylaws, maybe in a
Mhm.
couple.
We'll meet, I don't know, 28th,
Gonna target like
Yeah,
the
what-
last week of January?
Tuesday. Do you want to do Tuesday or
I'm good with
Wednesday?
that.
Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't care.
January 28th or 29th?
Yeah.
28th or
Yeah,
29th.
either one of those is good.
Are you going to be away?
Nope, I'll be here. Let me just check one thing.
Pretend like I have a calendar.
I just can't.
Yeah,
I have a
so-
board meeting at work next week.
29th. I can do either of those days.
Okay.
28th or 29th is fine.
So can I.
Me too.
All right. So what do you want, Brad?
Joni, you want to pick?
Yeah, I'm good at any one of them. I can't do the 30th,
Okay.
but.
Okay, so let's do that Tuesday,
Okay.
the
28th?
28th,
Okay.
January 28th. Ray, is it possible for you to see if the room would be available?
I can figure it out.
Yeah.
And again, we'd love to have you join if you're free. It'll be at 5 o'clock.
It would be at
And if, yeah,
5.
and if,
Do
not,
we post an agenda for that one too?
yeah, I'll give it a choice.
Okay. So Ray,
But we don't. want it.
Executive session.
Yeah, well, we can go on
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Just put-
Yes, for executive session. For the whole-
Okay, that's fine.
Because that's all it's gonna be,
Speaking of-
because I signed him.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
for the 28th meeting, for the agenda, it will just be executive session.
Well, if we can.
Yeah, I don't think,
Certainly.
we can talk about that. I don't,
We can just.
Right.
we can look at it. But yeah, definitely the 28th. We'll figure out.
Yeah, I'll get, some items prior to that. I will send you.
I didn't know. I don't have a fancy check.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.